Hello, this is Lousy.
And this is Backhand again.
Welcome to the We've Been Drinking MMA podcast.
Thanks
We're
for
talking
joining us.
about the UFC 284, and we're at the co-main event, Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett.
Yeah, I'm going with Yair Rodriguez with this featherweight bout.
I'm going with Josh Emmett.
Yep.
Josh Emmett throws with intentions.
Bad intentions, big power.
If you don't get
windmill
actual
punches.
damage on him, like actual put pressure on him and actually put damage on him,
He doesn't slow down.
he just keeps moving forward.
Keeps going.
Just like Sean Strickland's-esque.
Yep.
Like he just keeps moving forward, keeps throwing.
Mm-hmm. He's built from a different cloth. Him and Strickland, these types of guys, you just can't put them out. If you don't put them out, they keep coming at the same pace.
Yeah,
They're wild guys.
Qatar and Ige know about Emmett's power and know
Mm-hmm.
about his pressure. If you don't put damage on him, it's a problem. So that's why I'm picking Emmett.
Yeah.
You can
I
go
like
the
that
other way
pick.
with Rodriguez because he's in his prime and it's not like he doesn't know how to fight here. So, what do you think there?
Yeah, man. The reason I'm going with Yair is it's kind of simple. Emmett is a dangerous guy. Basically, their stats are very similar. Emmett is 5 inches shorter. That's the only difference. Yair has a 1 inch reach advantage, very close. They both strike at about a little over 4.3 landed significant strikes per minute for Emmett, and 4.6 landed significant strikes per minute for Yair Rodriguez. Very similar. And takedown average, they're both around 1 takedowns per fight. So it's going to be a stand-up war. The only reason really I'm going with Yair, I like Josh Emmett a lot. I mean, his fight style is great. I mean, he comes forward, crisp punches, 3-punch combinations. But I do feel like in his last fight, with Calvin Kattar, Kattar's jab was working really well throughout most of the fight against Emmett. He was landing a lot. Like, I think he won the first 2 rounds. Even the third round he was leading, but then Emmett stole the third round, and then Emmett's heart just took him the rest of the way, and he won rounds 4 and 5 because Emmett keeps coming with power. And that's the thing. If you don't put out someone like Emmett, you're not.
Damage and put pressure on him.
You have to damage him. If you don't damage him, in fact, the only times he loses, he lost to Jeremy Stephens by KO. Lost to when that was like 2018. That's the last time he lost, man, 5 years ago. And then the 2017 he lost, which was like 6 years ago, and that was a split decision. Other than that, he's all wins. So this guy's a winner. Emmett is a winner. And the only thing, though, is that he is susceptible to the jab big time, like that Kattar got on him. But again, like Lousy said, if you don't damage Emmett enough, he's just going to keep coming at you. You need to damage him. So it's not like a guarantee. This is not an easy win for Yair Rodriguez because of that. But Yair Rodriguez, basically in Emmett's fight, Emmett is solely punching. He's doing a lot of 1-2s, and Yair is doing punching and kicking. That's the main difference, man. And that's the only reason, and that's why Yair Rodriguez is a favorite, just a slight favorite, minus 160. So it's very close, guys. It's basically a pick'em. Slight favorite to Rodriguez, giving him, I guess, a 60% chance to win or so. So it's very close on the odds. I think also that Yair Rodriguez used to be more of a kicker. And in his Holloway fight, you could see that Holloway's jabs and boxing just exposed Yair's boxing, and it was just Holloway just took over the fight, basically. And Yair just was not comfortable enough with punching, and he was throwing kicks. He would throw some punches here and there, had a good slip 1-2 in boxing.
It seems like Yair is throwing punching to set up his kicks.
Exactly.
Which is huge in this fight.
And the thing is, though, in his last fight against Ortega, even though it lasted only 1 round because Ortega's shoulder got hurt when they were on the ground, Rodriguez's jab, to me, in my opinion, my humble opinion, Yair Rodriguez's jab hit another level. He was flashing it out there like he's thrown it a million times.
Like
you know what I mean?
Peppering it out.
Oh god, it was peppering it out, and it was just like a beautiful flash. It was very quick. And I just think that when the way Kattar in Emmett's last fight, Calvin Kattar got away with that lightning flash jab, I think now that Rodriguez has developed that, even though it was such a quick fight with Ortega, I did notice that. And because of that jab now, Rodriguez is going to be able to jab Emmett a lot, get ahead on the points. On top of that, the other thing is that the kicks from Rodriguez, his kicks, he might be maybe the either top 1 or 2 best kickers in the UFC.
Yeah.
It might be. He's jumping kicks, unbelievable. He's doing all these types of kicks, I just haven't seen a guy like him, and now that his punching is good, getting there. with his jab and everything. I just think that he is the next contender the way I see him. I've seen him like that for the last 2 fights, especially the way he rematched Jeremy Stephens. He really, showed that he was just much better than Jeremy Stephens, even though it was a close fight. And I used to think so much of Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens,
kept moving forward,
dude. Jeremy Stephens dangerous, man. And I thought that he was going to win the rematch, and Rodriguez pieced him up. Was able to punch and kick him and do whatever he wanted. A lot of kicks though. And now that his punching is there, I feel like the punching, the jab is there. Emmett has a very wide stance. Josh Emmett has a super wide stance, I would say. Even though he goes forward and puts pressure, his wide stance is super susceptible to leg kicks. Yeah. And when you're going against a guy like Rodriguez is going to be able to find that leg so often. I'm not saying he's going to damage Emmett. Emmett's a tank, dude. He can take damage.
He's going to take away power because
exactly. What I'm saying, no, I think it's just going to be a point fighting. You know what I mean? Like Emmett, like we said, Emmett has only been knocked out by Jeremy Stephens, and Jeremy Stephens, like we said, is so dangerous with his power. Rodriguez doesn't have that type of power. Rodriguez could TKO Emmett, obviously, but I don't see that happening. Emmett is a tank. Emmett knows when to stop going forward if he's taking too much damage. If Rodriguez starts landing some really heavy 1-2 or 3-punch combinations, Emmett will back up. I think Emmett's a smart fighter. But when Emmett sees no threat like he did against Cavalcater, he will just come forward with because he knows he'll win the fight just with his power and damage.
So who's your pick again?
I'm going with Yair.
So I'm going with Josh Emmett, and probably a good bet would probably be going the distance.
Going the distance makes a lot of sense. Yair, to knock out Emmett is like something only Jeremy Stephens can do. Yeah. So I think going the distance is great, and yeah, it's just kickboxer versus boxer basically. That's the only thing about it. So
thanks for listening, buddy.
Thanks, guys.